Today, I would like you to meet Aslam Abbas, the co-founder of Collect.chat. Aslam, welcome.
Hi, Lance. Thank you for having me.
So, 25,000 happy businesses using Collect.chat. Pretty impressive.
Yes, it has been a very long journey, a 5-year plus journey for Collect.chat.
Well, so for people, I just want to talk about chatbots. What makes chatbots so important for business nowadays?
See, chatbots embody the best form of communication between human beings. We like to chat, and chatbots are basically conversational interfaces which mimics chat. So that's a very easy, comfortable form of communication. And that natural interface, conversation interface, means the user has no friction into having a chat, giving their details, and submitting the details to the business owner. They're more comfortable in that. So that is why I believe chatbots are important for all businesses of all kinds.
Right. So instead of sitting there and filling out this huge form, people can be asked one question at a time, just like they're talking to a person.
Exactly. In a form, there is a lot of friction. They literally feel like, oh, I gotta fill this details and fill the next one. But in a chatbot, you're asking one question at a time. You're not telling them, you have 30 questions to fill. It's just, hey, I've got one more question. I've got a follow-up question. So you pick this option. Okay, what's something else we should do? That is what a chatbot actually does.
Right. And so, people are familiar with, you have the chat bots, and then you'll also have live chat, which are similar. But the thing is for people, live chat can be a lot more expensive. So they both have their uses. I think that the chat bots are affordable for everybody and easy to use and quick to deploy.
Yes, chatbots are definitely quick to deploy. Live chat also, when it works best, it does a good job. If you have the right team to attend all the customers that you have globally spread out, speaking in different languages, then yes, live chat is a good option. But many companies and businesses do not have such a big team. First of all, you have to hire a good set of people. You need to train them. There's a lot of money and cost and time involved in that. But when it comes to chatbots, this is about creating a conversation which is repetitive. 90% of conversations with customers are repetitive. You're asking the same set of questions. So why not make it automated, have it in one single chat interface, and put it for the customer to interact with? It runs on an autopilot and it interacts with everybody, all the website visitors. So you have the data in an instant. So that's what chatbots actually do.
Yeah, I have found that even for a single person who has a website and a business, bots fit into any budget just because you're not paying that human and you're not coming up with all those different FAQs and responses that a human would have to understand to ask any question a person would ask. Instead, there's guardrails on it. There's specific questions and people just go through that process.
Yes, yes. So basically, one thing that people should understand, when you are adding a chatbot, you're not removing the human out of the equation. You're you're making it easy for the customer agent on the other side, giving them all the information they need to act upon that particular customer support ticket, so that they can provide support faster. They will know their name, account email, or whatever service or problem they're facing in all its details will be available via the chatbot conversation. So that's the beauty of it. It's a much simple process for providing assistance, getting leads, getting feedbacks, and much more.
Right. And if you think about if you had a salesman that worked for your company and they never asked for people's business. They just stood in front of people and they just stood there and looked at them and they never once asked them for business. That wouldn't be an effective salesperson. But people will have a website that just sits there with no chat on it or no nothing. It's not communicating with people. It's just something to read and think that it's acceptable, but it's not. We Every page should be interactive for the purpose of that page. instead of making people go look through your website to find a contact us page. I mean, that's crazy. Even your purchase pages could have a chat bot that would assist people with those pre-purchase questions or ask if they'd like to take an order. I really see it as adding life and interaction versus just a dead site that doesn't isn't it's just out there. So,
Yeah. So coming to the salesman analogy, the salesman is one man, can only handle one person. When
hmm
as you're handling a person, you might have another curious customer who might be more interested to purchase or buy a service, and you cannot attend that person. You have to keep them waiting. Customers do not like waiting. They do not like delays. With a chatbot, it's all automated. You, but the thing is, you need to keep the conversation as human friendly as possible. Don't make it like give me all the information I need. No, keep it very simple so that the human at the other end can easily assist and in an organized manner can attend to all these different humans later and make them happy.
hmm and you said, it's not just one person, and I see that because you can have different bots on different pages, but if you have 1,000 people on a page, they can all be serviced by their own bot simultaneously. So you're not limited in any way. And really a big purpose of these bots is there's other purposes, but one of the biggest is lead generation, right? Like it's collecting leads for you from people who are on your site and interested in what you do.
Exactly. Lead generation is one of the primary use cases of our chatbots. That's something that we have seen over and over customers using Collect.chat's chatbots for. Um, and it's pretty easy to create a lead generation bot. Uh, and also, once the lead data is collected, we have very good set of integrations to send the data from the chatbot to perhaps a CRM that they're using. So they can do all those integrations within a single click in our dashboard.
Right. Or you can use the scheduling bot that you guys have to have them book right into your calendar. Um, and so oh, go ahead, Aslam.
Now, I was just saying appointment booking is another use case that also people use the chatbot for.
Right. And then maybe objections, like if you have, sales objections, they can handle a list of a few of those. You also have what do you call it? Your customer support type pages where they can, collect that data, you know.
Yes, yes, you can actually send data to tools like Freshdesk, Zoho, to create a ticket in those tools, support tools, and all those conversations become a ticket. That is also possible.
What are the for everybody who hasn't been in the system, I just said we've been through a demo and it was the simplest, shortest demo I've ever seen in my life. I think that anybody could walk in there and build one. It just takes seconds and then you just grab that code and paste it in your header or footer, whatever, and you're done. Uh,
Exactly.
I was shocked at how simple it was.
Thank you. One thing we have focused on always is people who the business people who are signing up on Collect.chat, they know the output they want and they don't really want to spend a lot of time in creating it because if they spend a lot of time trying to learn the product or figuring out XYZ features, that's going to create additional friction and they're going to drop off. They may hire or maybe pass on the task to someone else. Whenever we designed the product, we made sure that they got the output they needed in a matter of minutes, which is why we created over 50 templates. So no matter from which domain you're coming from, business domain, we will have a template that you can use out of the box. You just need to edit out some words and you will have a ready-made chatbot for you to use on your website.
Yeah, and I think anybody has a lead page or an opt-in page or is paying for paid traffic, you should really have a lead generating chatbot on those pages because if you're gonna pay to have a bunch of people go to a sign up page or something, you should have a secondary backup that will engage them if they're gonna weight on making that decision because they have questions. So you could add a chatbot as some sort of communication tool to grab those leads.
Right, right,
Uh,
right. Exactly.
Um, so what are the how many can they do at once? It's unlimited, right?
Yeah, there are no limits on the number of bots they can create. In fact, we encourage our customers to create different chatbots for different pages because people visit your home page for one reason, but people might be visiting a feature page or maybe a particular product page for another purpose. So the conversation that should be on that page should be different. And we don't have any limits on the number of chatbots you can create.
You guys, are there some ways that people can, things that people can do to increase conversion or improve the how their chat box work by either changing the words or changing backgrounds? Anything that you guys have learned that will increase engagement or conversion?
Yes, so some pretty basic rules. So the best converting chatbots do not have more than 10 to 12 questions. Uh, so 10 to 12 questions are 10 to 12 pieces of data points that you're collecting from the customer. So if you have a website and you need to capture data, try to capture the most essential data points in these 10 questions. But also, you should try your best to make them very simple. Um, and instead of providing text based questions, make them option based questions so that the user does not have to even type. You can just click, and then next move on. Make it easy for the end customer, and you'll get your data. So that's one thing. Keeping the questions brief is another point. Do not opt for very large number of data questions. Um, yeah, that's pretty much what I have to share.
Okay. And then so are there what I want to ask you a few questions as a business owner. What have you noticed about companies that they all have in common for companies who are really succeeding and doing well?
So, okay, good question. So, all the companies that are doing well, from what I have observed, they're only solving one problem, and they're solving that problem perfectly well. So, if you take our example, we are creating chatbots. We could have done maybe a customer support thing, what to do with the data that comes from the conversation. We could have built a CRM, or we could have done a ton of other features, but we don't focus on those. We focus on solving one single problem, and that is to help customers create chatbots in the most easy way. So focusing on a one single problem is important. Finding product market fit is important, and communicating with your customers. In our early days, um, with almost all our first customers, we tried to have a video call, tried to go through how they use the product. Even their minor mouse actions will give us an idea. Okay, is this working or is this not working? Is this feature clear to them, not clear to them? So just by observing without them even speaking it out, we are able to understand. So interacting with the customer, trying to support them over and beyond, has actually helped them. We have customers for 5 years. The ones who started then, they are still using Collect.chat because it works for them. They are happy and they still continue to use it. So focus on making the product simple, solve one problem, uh, pay attention to your customers, understand what they really, really want to do. What customers say in an email, uh, they might say, I want to do X, but you got to ask in a polite way, why do you really want to do X? That will give you a lot of insight into what is your business process, what's your workflow, and that will give you ideas.
Right, that why question really would be important because you're going to learn the context behind that decision, which helps you formulate your business.
Exactly.
And I like what you said about keeping having a single focus and keeping it simple and intuitive because really the more complex things get, the more we need to simplify them and make them naturally intuitive for the user so that they can do it because not everybody wants to go out and hire someone who can do these complex things. These chatbots is something that I believe from walking through behind the scenes, anybody can do. Like, you don't need to hire anybody.
Exactly. Now that you mentioned about hiring, I have seen uh, on Fiverr and other Upwork marketplaces, people are hiring chatbot experts for other products because the product by itself is not intuitive. It's powerful, but there is a learning curve to it. So you yourself are not able to make the output you want to. And very, very rarely I have seen somebody asking for an expert with Collect.chat because people are very easy for them to create a chatbot. Templates are only the system is completely intuitive. So that is something we are very happy about.
Well, and the thing that I like that I haven't seen other people really do that you guys did is as you click through different chatbots or as you flip the switches and make adjustments, you get a real-time preview right next to it. Like you actually see it as it's changing and what you're actually going to get at this moment in time, which is very cool. Was that based upon what you watched the customers wanting?
So again, this is again saving an extra click. Usually, all platforms have make a change, click on save, see the change. So we took away the save button, so everything is on auto save, and that actually means people can work faster. People, when you want to change, when you're working on creating the conversation script, your brain is so focused on how should I format these sentences, and then you instantly want to see the output. But in the meantime, if you're disturbed by gotta click on save changes and see the changes, you're disturbed and you break the flow. So we don't want to do that. Everything runs on autosave and you get to see the instant preview.
I just love that because that whole thing of clicking save, looking at it, and then going back into edit is such a pain. In fact, sometimes it pulls you out of the process just to see it, and then you have to go back into the process just to make the next addition. Like, I mean, the very, very smart.
Yes. You don't need an
So,
extra month. You can work with the same month.
and then what have you seen with companies that struggle? You've probably seen people come up and they try things and they're struggling at trying to get off the ground or stay in business, or they tend to get pushed out by the new people that have it more organized.
Uh, so that's a very broad question. I will
Mm-hmm.
try in my perspective. So one is lack of focus. You are spending your money probably in ads or in getting leads, paying influencers to feature your product, and all those activities, but you forget about improving the product itself. Your time is spent in trying to talk to customers to evaluate the idea, but you do not have a ready-made product to showcase and see if you get a live feedback about on the product that you made. That is something that we have tried to avoid. We always try to make a product that solves that has set out to solve that single problem. Now, if you do that, one advantage is whenever you're having a call with a customer to validate the idea, you have a live product which you can pitch to them. Hey, remember the idea I spoke to you about? I have this idea and I have this product ready made. Maybe can you spend 5 minutes to just test it out? So there you get a very active and strong feedback which helps you improve. And that's a cycle process which you have invested a lot of time in to help us create a good product. Many companies that I know, they try to skip this. They try to save it for later when they have a lot of customers or maybe when they have a lot of investors and money. But that should be something they should focus on from day one.
Well, I agree. And one of the things that you said is they focus on marketing or getting new customers versus improving the product. And I've mentioned that in this series a lot is that if you don't continuously improve and simplify and make your product or your service better, then you're going to spend um, a lot more money on marketing to try to get it out there because it's not going to naturally take off because it's okay. It's just not as good as it could be. And then you're going to have to deal with the customers or the people who buy into the product that aren't as happy as they could be. So you're adding friction to the process by forcing yourself to grow, with it not as an optimized business.
Yeah, you are just simply eroding yourself away with time, and even the money you're burning it too fast in marketing. So don't do that. Do not let that be your first focus. Make sure you have created a product or a service which is so good that people will not refuse it.
Right. And if you have too high of a burn rate of capital, like the money to pay for your staff and all your expenses is high, then it forces you to be driven to focus on new sales to pay and cover your monthly burn rate versus have a profit. And so sometimes you might have to trim that back while you're focusing on polishing your product. Otherwise, you're really not able to focus on being excellent. You're forced to focus on the next sale.
And also, they just don't focus on sales to get more cash. You may you might be tempted to go after investors to bring people on board, and then all your time as a founder will be to create a pitch deck, to pitch before a lot of people, give out, share your metrics and everything, and then only to bring investors. Sometimes it will backfire very badly and might even lead you to close down the company. I've seen that happening. So it's a pretty risky place. So get your product or service correct, not to the very best in the market, but it should do what it promises. If it says it can create a chatbot, it should do that in a very simple way. So if you're able to solve that problem, others should take care of itself.
Right. And then another thing that you mentioned was clarity. And I think that's true because when I look at businesses and I'm evaluating franchises or stuff, there's so much time that I'm like, when I just look at their marketing materials, I don't know what they do. Like they're like, we're the best, we save time, we do this, we lower raise your bottom line. But I'm like, but what do you do? Because, they're selling their franchise business, but I'm like, yeah, I see this name, but nothing in the logo tells me what you do, and nothing in the thing. I wish that they would take the time to distill down the essence and core of what they do into one or two single sentences, and that is the very first sentence they say, because that is the context of all the other stuff they're going to teach you is based upon the clear statement of what they do. And the next one is, how are you different?
That is very important. Even our product is named Collect.chat. So that actually means collecting data via chat. So that's how we name the product. It is very, you use the word clarity. I'm going to use a word value. It is important for customers to understand the value of using your product or service. The marketing copy that you're creating should highlight the value. Why should people use Collect.chat? Because it helps you collect data on autopilot. It saves you time and money, a lot of time and money. That simple statement hits on the right code with the right customer. So that is something that you should focus on whenever you're pitching your product to anybody, to your customer, to your friends, or to investors, whatever. You have to focus on your marketing copy and bring in a use value based statements.
What do you think? Times are always changing. We always have to, stay on what we're doing, but kind of adapt. People are different, times are different. How do you guys stay relevant?
So we always look out for how the market is changing, what's the new latest product out there. Um, for example, a couple of years back, Webflow was not in the picture, but now everybody uses Webflow to create a website. And very recently, ChatGPT has it's become a storm. Everybody's creating new products, trying to discover new use cases. Always keep an eye out. Always have this mindset of being able to learn. You even if your product was successful a year back, doesn't mean your product is going to be successful today. You need to be able to learn to adapt to new marketing conditions. So the reason I brought Webflow is it is important for products like ours to make sure we have a presence in those platforms, to be able to tell the customer, hey, you can use this product on Webflow also or on WordPress also. So when something new comes up, embrace it, understand it, research it, and then figure out how to penetrate it.
Hmm. And one of the strategies I've seen people that are a really good way as a stick strategy is for us to stay in business. A lot of things, collaboration is a very good tool. And I've seen companies do things where they integrate together. I mean, people understand that with like software and web-based things. Well, we'll just have an integration between the companies. And so customers of this company will see that we exist, or it's easy to use us if you use them, and vice versa. But I mean, that can happen with any businesses. There could be, a franchise company right now that could integrate or have a strategic partnership with somebody who would be an ideal pairing of the businesses, which then just gives them more interconnectedness and keeps them as part of the conversation without spending money on marketing.
Yes, a collaboration, you have to be very smart when you're collaborating. It's you have to go walk in the shoes of your customer, try to understand where the customer is getting their information from. Now, I'm not trying to talk about using influencers. Perhaps um, if Starbucks Coffee wanted to collaborate with to get more customers, they could, people are riding the metro all the time, which means having a metro ad or maybe in the metro tickets that are issued back behind it, if you give a Starbucks coupon, that would be a great collaboration. It's very pretty cheap. You already have the ticket being issued. You just need to have the Starbucks logo in the back. So that's one great, easy way to just collaborate with brands that you don't even think for the first time. But a great, easy way to navigate through the customer's eyes, see where you can make an impact, where you can make yourself visible, and then make such collaborations, and it will have an impact.
Excellent.
Think box.
Right. Well, any other thing, Aslam, that you think that we should discuss today that you would like to share with people? Any thoughts or ideas or
Just one last thing about Collect.chat. Uh, in Collect.chat, we say that anybody can make a chatbot, and that is true. Uh, the product that we have is so simple to use and so simple to integrate with any website that you have running on any framework. You can also share this chatbot as links. So this is one feature that we also highlight. Most people talk about uh, the pre-sales aspect of the chatbot, which is interact with potential customers or visitors. However, I'm talking right now about what to do after the customer has used the product or service, the post operations. Our chatbots can be shortened and used as a link, which means if you're sending out surveys in email or SMS campaign, you can include the chatbot in this particular message. And there also, with very less friction, you'll be able to collect data from the customers. So that is one thing that you can use Collect.chat for. Just came to my mind. I thought I should share it.
right? No, I was thinking about that because it's actually like when they click on the link, it goes to almost like a web page dedicated to that chat bot. And you can ask post-sales questions. How did you like the product? How was the service? Or how was it like working with the person that helped you? Or anything like that, it's a very simple way to pass it. It's not really just attached to your specific website, and that is a great tool. The link right here next to the video, go there, check it out. Check out Collect.chat. It's a great company. It's simple product. I mean, I really like how it renders it in real time because you guys were smart enough to hit autosave and eliminate all that stuff. So in real time, every single change you make, you can see it rendered on your screen. So very cool, very easy, unlimited chat bots to collect leads, customers, schedule appointments, and everything. Thank you, Aslam. I really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, Lance, and we'll talk soon, I hope.